All right. Welcome to another narration of mine. Settle in for a moment. This is where the voices I carry meet the version of the truth most people avoid, and where the things we uncover tend to stay with us long after the story ends. Only the brave souls and the fearless ones stay until the end. I guess I should start this by saying I never really believed in anything. Not in God, not in karma, not in spirits, the universe, fate. None of it. I used to laugh at the idea of some old man in the sky keeping a checklist of good and bad. My mom tried dragging me to church when I was a kid, but it never stuck. I used to stare at the stained glass windows and wonder how many people were just pretending to believe. It felt like everyone in that building was lying to themselves, mouthing words they didn't understand, just to feel like they were safe from something they couldn't even explain. So yeah, I was an atheist. Still am, I guess, depending on how you define me now. Anyway, a couple months ago, something weird started happening to me. It wasn't like some overnight epiphany or divine dream or any of that. It started real simple. I couldn't sleep. Not insomnia like I was worried or stressed. No, this was something else. Something watching. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd feel this static behind my eyelids, like an electric buzzing that grew louder the longer I kept them shut. I'd wake up gasping with this pressure in my chest, like I was about to burst open, like something inside me wanted to get out. And I'd see things, just flashes at first, like silhouettes by my bedroom door. But they weren't shaped right. Too tall, arms too long, backs hunched like they were ready to crawl across the ceiling. One time, I saw something standing over my bed when I blinked, just for a second. Pale arms reaching down like it wanted to touch my forehead. That's when I started searching for help. Not therapy. I didn't want to be labeled, didn't want pills. I didn't want people thinking I was sick. No, I wanted answers. That's how I found the forum. It was buried deep, like onion layer internet deep. No names, just screen names and a mess of threads. Most of them were fake as hell. Obvious LARP or cult garbage. But one name kept popping up. Simeon. There were entire threads about him. The man who sells faith. That's what people called him. He was like this underground spiritual mercenary or something. Not a priest, not a pastor, just a guy that could install belief into the soul, whatever that means. Some guy in one thread said Simeon made him believe in God, Punhard. He saw him. Not metaphorically, literally, like physically manifested in his living room. I thought it was bulls, honestly, until I started reading the darker stories. There was this one guy, I'll call him Blue Shirt because of his username. His post was long as hell. He said he was an atheist too, real hardcore. But he said Simeon opened the door too wide. That's how he put it. Like something else came through something older than God. He started hearing things in his walls. His girlfriend disappeared. He said her mouth was open in a scream when he found her, but there was no sound. Her tongue was gone. At first, I thought it was just a messed up story, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. The static behind my eyes was getting louder. I wasn't sleeping at all. And worst of all, I started praying. Not because I believed. I didn't know what else to do. I'd whisper words I heard when I was little, just to do something. And I hated myself for it. I felt weak, desperate. That's when I messaged him, Simeon. No picture, just an all-black profile. It felt like emailing a grave. All I wrote was, I want to believe. Make me believe. I'll do anything. He replied in 6 minutes. No greeting, just one sentence. Send address. Leave your door unlocked. Be alone. I should have stopped there. I know that now. But I didn't. That night, I did exactly what he said. I cleaned my apartment like I was expecting a guest. I even showered, which I hadn't done in like 4 days. The air felt off, though, like it was thicker. The lights flickered twice, even though it wasn't storming. My phone screen started glitching. When I tried texting my friend, the keyboard typed on its own. It's not too late to close the door. I threw the phone in the sink. I waited. At 3:17 a.m., I heard a knock. Not like a normal knock. This was slow, deliberate. 3 beats. Then silence. I opened the door, and he was just there. Tall, white button-up, tucked into old black pants. Face like someone you'd forget immediately. That's what stuck with me. How ordinary he looked. Like you'd pass him on the bus and never notice. Except his eyes. They weren't right. They didn't look blind or anything. They were just wrong. Too focused. Too hungry. Like they were remembering things they weren't supposed to. He walked past me without a word. Sat on my couch like he'd been here before. Didn't take his shoes off. I asked, "What do I do?" He didn't answer. Just pulled this small leather bag out of his coat. It looked old. I mean, really old. The leather was cracked like dried skin. He opened it and pulled out this thing. It looked like a piece of dried meat. Dark red. Veiny. Maybe a tongue? Maybe a finger. It pulsed once in his palm. Just once. I swear to God it was alive. He handed it to me. I stared at it, and he said, "Belief is submission. Put it under your tongue." I didn't want to. Every nerve in my body screamed not to. But my hands moved anyway. The second it touched the inside of my mouth, I felt heat in my spine, like something lit a fire behind my eyes. I dropped to my knees. My nose started bleeding. I bit down by accident, and the taste was like metal, but also like rot, like chewing on a dead animal left in the sun. I couldn't scream. That's when Simeon stood over me and whispered, "There is no God, but there is something that listens." He left. Didn't even close the door. I laid there all night, twitching. And the next morning, everything was different. I'm not alone in my body anymore. It started small. At first, it was just a feeling, like when you're standing in front of a mirror in a dark room, and you know the reflection is going to move wrong. Then came the voices. Not out loud. Not really. More like thoughts that weren't mine. They'd echo in the back of my skull, whispering things in a language I've never heard, but understood. And the smell. God, the smell. Every time I walk past a church now, I smell burning meat, like flesh. But it makes me hungry, not in a food way, like my stomach wants something else. The worst part? I've started going to churches now, not to pray, just to sit there, to feel. And I do. I feel something watching me, smiling. Last week, during a Sunday service, I sat in the back pew. Didn't even mean to go in. Just felt pulled. The priest kept talking, but his voice faded. I could hear this wet breathing behind me, right behind my neck. I turned, and no one was there. But the woman in front of me, some sweet little old lady, she turned around and said, "You brought him in with you." She wasn't scared. She was smiling. Her teeth were wrong. Too many. Too sharp. I ran out of there, shaking. I don't know what Simeon gave me, but I believe now. Not in God, not in Jesus, not in anything holy. I believe in something deeper, something buried under our reality, under the floorboards of the world. And it's waking up. And worst of all, it lives in me now. I feel it every time I close my eyes. After Simeon left, the nights got longer. I don't mean that like a metaphor. I'm saying actual, physical nighttime stretched out. The sun would set a little earlier each day. At first, I thought it was just the season changing, but then I checked the weather app, and it was off by almost an hour. Like the whole world was dimming, 1 minute at a time, and no one else was noticing. The street lights outside my apartment would flicker when I walked past. People's dogs wouldn't come near me anymore. They'd bark, then yelp like I kicked them, even though I didn't touch them. I started seeing things in the mirror, just behind my reflection. Movement. Not shadows. Not tricks of the light. Bodies. They twitch when I blink, like they want to be seen. I didn't leave my apartment for almost 5 days. I just sat in the dark, listening. It's always whispers now, like a room full of people mumbling prayers through wet throats. I can't understand all the words, but some of them I do. Phrases like, "He left the door open." "He is the empty page. Carve him a name." "Hunger is the truest faith." I don't even know what that last one means, but it kept echoing in my head. Every night, over and over again. That's when it started. The hunger. I couldn't eat normal food anymore. Not like, oh, this tastes bad, but full-body rejection. I'd try to eat a granola bar, and I'd vomit halfway through. Water tasted like bleach. I even passed out after trying to eat chicken. Woke up on the bathroom floor with my mouth bleeding, like I'd chewed glass. But I wasn't losing weight. My skin looked stretched, not sagging, tight, like it was trying to hold something in. I could feel my stomach moving sometimes when I laid flat, like something was growing inside, something alive. That's when the dream started. Every night, the same one. I'm standing in this massive church, but everything's wrong. The pews are made of bone, not skeleton bone. I mean, fresh, wet. The walls are red, like raw meat, and they pulse. The cross above the altar is upside down, and something's nailed to it. Not a man, not a god, just a thing. It has too many arms, and they bend wrong. The head's missing. In its place, there's a gaping hole where a face should be, and inside the hole, it's smiling. I know that makes no sense, but it was smiling inside the void. I could feel it smiling at me. And then it speaks. Not with words, just this awful, skin-peeling vibration. Like my bones were being tuned like a cello string. I always wake up choking. My throat dry, my fingernails covered in black gunk that smells like sulfur and old pennies. 3 days ago, it got worse. I left my apartment for the first time in nearly a week. I needed air. Or maybe I needed to be around people. I wasn't sure. I just walked. I ended up at this diner, not far from my place. Real quiet. Open 24/7. The kind of place that smells like coffee and eggs. Even at 2 a.m. I sat in a booth near the back and tried to act normal. Ordered toast and black coffee. Didn't touch either. That's when I noticed the guy across from me. He looked rough, like he hadn't slept in days. Face pale, lips cracked, hoodie with blood stains on the sleeve. He kept staring at his reflection in the window, not through it, at it, like he was waiting for it to move without him. I was gonna mind my own business until he looked at me, not like casual eye contact. He stared into me. His pupils dilated so wide, I couldn't see any white. He leaned across the booth divider and whispered, "He's using you to wake up." I froze. My fork dropped to the floor. He kept talking, like his voice wasn't even coming from him, like it was leaking out of some hole in his body. He's the God underneath, not the one who listens, the one who feeds. I asked him what he meant, or maybe I just stammered something. Doesn't matter. He stood up and walked out without another word. Didn't even pay for his food. I ran after him. The alley behind the diner was empty. Not just, oh, he turned a corner, empty. I mean, silent. No traffic, no wind, no night sounds. Just that same thick, heavy pressure in the air, like before a tornado. Then I saw it. On the alley wall, scratched in with what looked like fingernails, was a message. The first hunger is flesh. The last hunger is faith. Underneath it was a smear of something black. I got closer and realized it wasn't paint. It smelled sweet, like decay and flowers. I touched it without thinking and felt something breathe under the wall. I ran home and locked the door behind me. I scrubbed my hand until it bled, but the smell never left. That night, I lost time. I remember falling asleep on my couch with all the lights on. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in the woods, completely naked, feet bloody, hands raw, my mouth full of dirt, and something else, something soft. I reached in and pulled out a piece of fabric, blue, like part of a hospital gown. There was blood on it, not mine. My phone was in the dirt next to me, open, camera app running. I opened the gallery and saw 4 videos I didn't remember taking. I only watched the first one. I wish I hadn't. It's just me, standing outside a small house, breathing heavy, whispering something. The camera's shaking. Then I start laughing. Not like I'm amused, like I've lost my mind. I walk up to the house. The door's open. Inside, everything is still. Then it cuts. I don't know what I did in there. I don't want to know. The next day, I checked the local news. Nothing about break-ins, nothing about missing people. But when I looked at my own eyes in the mirror, I saw something move behind them, like my reflection was looking back, smiling. I'm not an atheist anymore, but I don't think that's a good thing, because whatever I believe in now, it's not God. It's something older, something buried, and it's hungry. The woods didn't leave me. Even after I got home, showered, threw my clothes into a trash bag, and tied it shut, like it was radioactive, it stayed with me. This heavy silence in my chest, like I'd brought the whole forest back inside me. I didn't go to work, didn't answer messages, didn't bother pretending I had a normal life anymore. I stayed in my apartment, lights off most of the time, pacing from the kitchen to the living room like some trapped thing. Every time I stopped moving, that pressure behind my ribs would start again, pulsing like it was a second heartbeat. It was around 4 a.m. when I finally sat on the floor and tried to breathe. Just breathe. My mouth tasted like metal. My tongue felt wrong in my mouth. Too big or too small. I didn't know. That's when I realized the thing inside me wasn't sleeping. It never sleeps. I guess the best way I can describe it is, imagine waking up with a stranger in your house, except the stranger is living under your skin, and it keeps getting curious about the world through you. My hands would move before I meant to move them. I'd find myself staring at neighbors through the peephole, not even realizing I'd walked to the door. The worst moment was when I caught myself smiling at the dark corner of my living room. There was nothing there, but I smiled anyway, like someone told me to. I tried distracting myself, playing music, watching YouTube, but everything sounded muffled, like someone shoved cotton into my head. The only sound that ever came through clearly was breathing. Sometimes mine, sometimes not. Around sunset, I heard something tapping at one of my windows. Slow, steady. Not rain, not branches. Something deliberate. I froze. The tapping stopped. A few seconds passed, and then my phone lit up on its own. No buzzing, no notification sound, just the screen turning on. A message app open. One unread message from a number not saved in my contacts. Just one sentence. Stop ignoring him. My stomach flipped so hard, I almost threw up. I didn't type back. I didn't even want to touch the phone. I slid it away with my foot like it was a trap. 5 minutes later, another message appeared. He knows you saw the house. The house. The house in the woods. The one I'd filmed myself walking into. My whole body went cold. I didn't remember what I saw inside, but somebody, or something, did. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't even try. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the front door like I expected someone to come through it any second. The knocking started around 3:40 a.m. 3 slow knocks. I didn't move. Didn't even breathe. Another 3 knocks, louder. Then a man's voice said my name. Not like a stranger would say it. Not questioning. Not polite. He said it like he owned it. Like he'd named me himself. I backed away from the door until my shoulder blades hit the fridge. My whole body shook. I didn't make a sound. I just listened. He whispered something next, but it wasn't in English. It wasn't even a language I knew. It sounded damp and broken, like words pushed through a mouth that didn't know how to form them. But I understood the meaning anyway, and it made my skin crawl. Let him look through you. The doorknob twitched. Just once. Then footsteps walked away. I stayed on the kitchen floor until sunrise. The next day, I thought maybe I should try going outside again. Clear my head. Be around real people, real sunlight. I wasn't hungry, but I felt restless, like something was pushing me out the door. I ended up taking the bus to the next town over. Didn't want to be recognized by anyone near my place. I sat near the back, staring at the scratched plastic window. Every reflection looked off. People looked wrong in that window, like their eyes lagged a second behind their heads. There was this older woman across the aisle. She kept twisting a necklace between her fingers. A small wooden cross. Nothing special. But every time she looked at me, the cross would swing forward on its chain like it was being pulled toward me. She leaned over and whispered, "You shouldn't be here." I swallowed. throat dry. "I'm just going for a ride." She shook her head slow, like she felt sorry for me. "No," she said. "I mean, you shouldn't be anywhere anymore." Her eyes filled with this awful pity that made something in my chest twist. Not sadness, annoyance, like something inside me didn't like hearing the truth spoken aloud. Before I could respond, the bus jerked to a hard stop. Everyone lurched forward. The driver started yelling for everyone to get off. Said there was something wrong with the engine, even though the bus had been running fine a second earlier. That's when I realized the woman was gone. Not moved. Not walked away. Just gone. Her seat was empty. Her cross necklace was on the floor. The chain was broken, like something snapped it. I didn't pick it up. I spent the rest of the day wandering the town. I didn't know what I was looking for. My feet just kept moving. Every shop I passed, every restaurant, every alley, I felt eyes on me. Not human ones, deeper ones, watching me from the places people don't look at, behind dumpsters, under parked cars, reflected in darkened windows. At one point, a kid was staring at me, maybe 13, hoodie way too big for him. He looked terrified. When I got closer, he backed up like I'd threatened him. "Don't come near me," he said. "I'm not gonna do anything," I told him. "Yeah," he whispered, "but he will." Before I could ask what he meant, his mom called him from across the parking lot. He ran without looking back. I got home after dark. My apartment door was unlocked. I know I locked it. I always lock it now. Inside, everything looked the same. Except one thing. Every mirror in my apartment was turned to face the wall. I didn't touch them. I didn't move them. Something else did. And when I stepped further inside, I felt this warm breath against the back of my neck. But I was alone. I should have run. I should have left. But something in me wanted to stay. Wanted to see. And then, from somewhere behind me, a voice whispered, "Part the flesh. Let him see the world." I didn't turn around. I couldn't. Because I knew that if I looked, I wouldn't be looking alone. After the mirror thing, I didn't sleep for 2 days. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd see this huge, rotting grin. Not a face, just a mouth, stretched ear to ear, dripping. No tongue, just a throat that went too far back. I'd hear teeth grinding in my skull, like they were my teeth. I started stuffing towels under the bathroom door because I swore something was crawling under it when the lights were off. That voice, the one that whispered behind me. It's not just whispering anymore. It talks now. Full sentences. Sometimes in my voice, sometimes in my dad's voice, sometimes in a voice I've never heard before that sounds wet, like it's speaking from inside a throat filled with blood. It says stuff like, "You're the hole. You're the door frame, and he is the step. Your skin is his invitation." I don't know what any of it means, but I keep writing it down. scribbled on napkins, the backs of receipts, my own arm once. I woke up with it scrawled down my forearm in a language I didn't know. But when I read it, I got this rush, like adrenaline and grief and hunger all tangled up. I felt warm for the first time in weeks. I didn't wash it off for 3 days. 2 nights ago, I decided to get out again. Something inside me was pulling, not pushing, pulling, like a leash around my neck, dragging me towards something I wasn't supposed to see. I ended up taking the train downtown. I didn't know where I was going until the train stopped. It was a place I hadn't been in years. A church I used to pass on my walk to high school. I never went inside, but I remembered the huge red doors and the weird metal angel statue in front of it, the kind with 6 wings and no face. The statue was gone. Just the pedestal was left. I stood out front for a long time before I even reached for the door. My body didn't want to go in, but something inside me was thrilled, like it was pacing behind my ribs, whispering, "Yes, yes, 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 yes." I opened the door. Everything smelled like wet wood and bleach. It was too quiet. No one else inside. No candles, no choir music, no priest. Just the sound of something dripping, steady, somewhere near the altar. The pews were all crooked, like they'd been dragged, clawed at. Some were turned completely around to face the back wall. I didn't sit. I just stood there, in the middle of the aisle, looking at the altar. There was something on it. At first, I thought it was a statue. It was so still, but then it breathed, like a huge, rag-covered thing, curled up and shivering. Its body twitched every time it exhaled, like it was sick or in pain, or both. Its head was covered by a bag, stained dark red at the mouth area. A big one, like it had been screaming for a long time. I should have left, but I walked toward it. Every step felt like my bones were cracking under my weight. My teeth were clenched so hard, I felt one chip. My knees locked up halfway there. My stomach wanted to turn inside out, but I couldn't stop. I got within maybe 10 feet of it before it looked at me. It didn't lift its head. It didn't move. I just felt it notice me. It said nothing out loud, but something changed in the room. The air got heavy, thick, with heat. The floor under me felt soft, not like carpet, like flesh. And then, this pressure slammed into my skull. Not pain, not fear, understanding. It showed me something. It wasn't a vision, exactly. More like an idea burned into my brain. Something I was never supposed to know. I saw that there was something before creation, before time. A thing that was forgotten by every religion because it was never meant to be remembered. Not a god, not a demon, just absence. The first hunger. The thing Simeon woke up in me. and it chose me. When I came to, I was outside the church, covered in dirt, knees scraped raw. My palms had symbols carved into them, not deep, just scratched in like with a nail. I tried to remember if I'd done it, but I couldn't even remember leaving the church. Then I looked up. The red doors were gone. Just bricks there now. Like no one had ever built a door in that spot. The building looked abandoned. Windows boarded up, spray paint over the stone. The pedestal where the angel statue used to be, it had my name carved into it. Not written, carved. When I got home, there was a package waiting at my door. No label, no postage, just my first name written in black ink. Shaky, like whoever wrote it had broken fingers. I brought it inside and opened it. Inside was a mirror, oval, old. The glass was clean, but the frame was covered in scratches, like someone had tried to claw their way into it. Taped to the back was a note. It said, "You are ready to see." That night, I stared into the mirror for hours. Not because I wanted to, because I had to. And around 3:20 a.m., I saw something move in the reflection. Not behind me, not in the room. Inside the mirror, something was looking out. It had my face, but wrong. Eyes too wide, smile too still, skin pale like wax. I blinked. It didn't. It just raised one hand and tapped on the glass from the inside. Then it mouthed something. Not words, just the shape of a sound. Let Mitta in. And I did. Not by choice. I touched the mirror, and everything went black. I woke up in my bathtub, water full to the brim, cold, my clothes soaked through. The mirror was floating next to me, face down in the water. My fingernails were gone. Not broken. Gone. Like they'd never grown in the first place. I got out, wrapped myself in a towel, sat on the bathroom floor for a long time, and then I heard it again. Not from outside, not from the mirror, from me. A second voice in my throat, low, guttural, smiling. It said, "I'm here now. I think this is the last part I'll be able to write. Not because I'm scared. I passed that point weeks ago. But because my hands are shaking so bad now that I keep hitting the wrong keys. My fingers don't bend the way they used to. My knuckles pop on their own every few minutes, like they're adjusting to something that isn't human anymore. I can feel him inside me, not like a possession, not like a voice in my head, more like sharing my body, my thoughts, my skin. Sometimes my vision doubles, and I see two versions of the room at once. One normal, one soaked in this reddish glow, like everything's breathing. I feel my pulse in places that don't have veins. My ribs hurt when the room gets quiet, like they're expanding, making space. But the worst is the way strangers look at me now. Avoidance I can handle. Fear I can handle. But lately, people have been smiling at me. Not happy smiles. Smiles like they recognize me from somewhere. Like they know what's living in me. Last night, a woman at a gas station brushed by me and whispered, "You're almost hollow. That's good." I didn't ask what she meant, because deep down, I already knew. After the mirror thing, I kept hearing footsteps in my apartment, even when I wasn't moving. Soft, careful, like something pacing, something learning the layout. Doors would creak even when they were shut. My bed would sink beside me like someone sat down. Once, I woke up and felt breath on my collarbone. Warm. Slow. I didn't move. I didn't have to. He already knew I was awake. 2 nights ago, I realized something important, something terrifying. He's not trying to control me. He's trying to become me. Or maybe I'm becoming him. The line's blurry now. My reflection doesn't match me anymore. Not every time. Sometimes it looks normal. Other times, it's smiling when I'm not. Sometimes, its eyes stay fixed on mine, like it's waiting for me to say something. A few times, it's mouthed words I never said out loud. The last time, it whispered, "He'll be ready when the skin splits." I can't explain how horrifying it is to watch your own face speak like that, like a mask deciding when it wants to slip. Yesterday, I tried to get help. Real help, not forums, not dark web believers, actual medical help. I walked into a clinic down the street, brand new building, super clean. The lady at the front desk wore these bright blue scrubs and smiled like she rehearsed it in the mirror that morning. I told her I wasn't feeling right. She asked, "What kind of not right?" I said, "I feel like something's inside me." Her smile evaporated instantly. Her eyes flicked down to my chest, not like she was looking, like she was listening. Then she whispered, barely audible, "Already?" She pressed a button under her desk and said, "Take a seat." I ran, didn't look back, didn't stop until I reached the sidewalk and nearly collapsed. I've never run from someone smiling before, but she wasn't smiling at me. She was smiling at him. When I got back to my apartment, the door was open. Not broken, just open. Inside, everything was exactly how I left it. Nothing stolen, nothing moved. Except one thing, the mirror. The same mirror that had dragged me under the water. It was on my bed, face up, waiting. I walked toward it like a magnet was pulling me. My feet felt heavier with each step, like I was walking deeper into the ground. The surface of the mirror rippled when I leaned over it. Not water, not glass. Something else. Something alive. And then it showed me the truth. Not like a vision, not a message, more like a memory that wasn't mine, but felt too real to deny. I saw a room, dark, lit only by candles that flickered like they were breathing. Symbols drawn across the floor in something dark and sticky. Simeon in the center, kneeling, head down. His hands were shaking like he was trying to hold something in his palms. Then he lifted his face. His eyes were bleeding. Not tears, actual blood running from the corners, like he'd been crying it. He said, "He needed a vessel. You needed a belief. It was perfect." And then I saw myself. Not present-day me. A version of me standing behind Simeon. Skin pale, mouth open, like I was screaming with no sound. My chest split down the middle, ribs curled back like petals. Inside, something pulsed, something hungry, something smiling. The mirror cracked. I stumbled back and hit the dresser. My lungs felt too small, like they weren't built for whatever was breathing through them. And then his voice came through, clearer than ever. Not behind me, not inside me, through me. He said, "We're almost ready. The world is thin. Your skin is the last curtain." I fell to the floor and didn't move for an hour. Just lay there, shaking, trying not to think about what ready means, trying not to imagine what he'll do when the curtain opens, trying not to feel the movement under my ribs whenever I breathe too deep. Today, something new happened, something I can't pretend is normal. I found a message carved into my wall, not written, carved, deep enough that white plaster dust was still on the floor. It said, "He is born when you stop being you." I didn't carve it. I know I didn't. My fingernails are gone. Right now, while I'm typing this, the lights keep dimming. The air feels thick again. My chest is tight. My reflection in the black laptop screen is smiling, even though I'm not. He's pushing again, harder than before. My vision keeps flickering between this room and the red one, the one with the altar, the one where something waits for me, the one where I think I'm supposed to go next. There's something dripping onto the floor. I don't know if it's from me. I can't tell anymore. I hear him now, not a whisper, a voice, right behind my ear. He keeps saying the same thing. It's time. I think he's right. I can feel my skin stretching, splitting at the center. He's trying to step through, trying to wear me like a doorway. I don't know how much longer I'll be. The screen is going dark. My reflection is standing up, even though I'm still sitting. He's smiling wider now. He's mouthing something. Belief fulfilled. He's reaching through. If you're reading this, lock your mirrors. Don't pray to anything you don't understand. And if someone named Simeon messages you first, don't answer him ever.